Hey guys, what's up? It's Angelina and welcome back to my channel. So I posted a poll over here on YouTube and I asked you guys if you wanted me to review the Patrick Ta foundation or the new Huda Beauty foundation first. I'm going to review both of them, but results showed that you guys want to see the Huda Beauty one first, so let's get into it. Fully breaking out. And I don't know, like this is probably a good thing actually, because now we can actually get a good test on the Huda Beauty foundation. It's supposed to have a bunch of coverage and be good for skin that's problematic like mine right now. I have a lot of hormonal acne. As you guys can probably see, I'm just kind of going through it with my skin right now in my lower face area, so more than likely hormonal. So I picked up the new Huda Beauty foundation. This is the Easy Blur foundation. And I decided to go with the shade 350G Dulce de Leche just because I looked at swatches, I tried to figure out which one I thought was going to suit me. The Huda Beauty foundation retails for $37, which is honestly not that bad. It's a liquid formula. It claims to be a lightweight, medium to buildable coverage foundation that's non-comedogenic and ultra blurring for an airbrushed finish. So the highlighted ingredients include 1.5% niacinamide, which is supposed to smooth and refine the look of uneven texture and tone, and silica, which is pore blurring, results in a natural airbrush finish. It is vegan and cruelty-free. It seems to be the season of foundation releases, and also Patrick Star is releasing a foundation as well for one size. So I feel like fall time just equates with a bunch of foundation releases, and summertime equates with a lot of blush releases. There was a ton of new blushes that came out this year. I'm glad that we're now in foundation season because I love testing foundations. Okay, so the packaging looks like this. It is just a squeezy kind of packaging. Honestly, I don't mind it. I mean, you can argue that it might be a little cheapy feeling, but I would say this is probably good to travel with because you don't have to worry about it breaking. Okay, I can see that some product kind of came out into the packaging. I really hope that this is not like the faux filter products that just explode everywhere, because that is the most annoyingest thing ever, but we're just gonna hope for the best. Okay, so this looks like a pretty decent shade match on me. Definitely a little bit warmer than I would like, but not too bad. I think I did a pretty good job shade matching. We're just gonna start little by little. I'm gonna start with the right side first, even though I don't have a ton to cover there. Okay, this is a very liquidy formula. It essentially just drips out of the packaging, so you want to make sure that you're careful with it because otherwise you're probably going to mess up all of your clothes. Okay, so I did 3 drops. I feel like that looks pretty good. Pretty good. I'm going to just use this side of the brush to just spread it. I think that's a pretty decent, it's going to be a pretty decent shade match for me, but I'm sure you guys can see that's what it goes on like, and then down here, once it's dried down, it dries down a tad bit darker and almost a different shade. It almost looks like a different undertone down here. Looks a lot more neutral down here than it does when it goes on. So that can be very interesting in terms of, you know, the shades and what shade you want to pick up, because if it oxidizes, that might be an issue. Honestly, I think I did a really good job on the shade. Okay, so we're just gonna say that's like one layer. Honestly, it looks very natural on the skin. I don't really see anything too crazy. It honestly looks really good. Whatever is left on the brush from when I swiped it on the face, I'm just gonna kind of pinpoint it on my acne marks. I think it looks really good. I have no complaints so far, at least with how it's applying. It's applying super smooth onto the skin. So now we're going to use a sponge just to see if it makes any difference at all. Okay, honestly not too bad, but I'm not really loving the way it's applying with the sponge. I think it's shearing it down a little too much. I'm just going to go in with some more product and I'm going to build it up because I have hyperpigmentation on this side, and I'm just going to go back in with the brush. as you can see, it goes on very yellow looking, and then it definitely changes color. Keep the coverage. I'm gonna kind of like let that sit for a bit, to be honest. I just want to see how well this covers. The shade match is honestly pretty good for me, which I don't think I use the shade 350 in the other products. I can go ahead and check for you guys because I do have the foundation stick, and I also have tried the other foundation, the pump foundation, the liquid one that they came out with a while ago, and I don't remember if it's in this shade or not, but I will report back to you. This feels a little heavy on the skin. I'm gonna wait for it to dry down a bit more because who knows, it could just be when you put it on it feels a little bit heavy. And the weird thing is, it is pretty lightweight, but it does feel like makeup. So keep that in mind if you don't love that feeling. Honestly, I think it looks really nice. I'm not noticing any areas where it's like clinging on to anything. But as you guys can see, it's not really emphasizing anything. I think everything looks good. I don't know if I would say that I feel like it has blurring properties, but it definitely is pretty medium to full coverage. So, gonna go in with the Huda Beauty Peach Corrector. Yes, the packaging sucks. On this and this, it explodes. I've talked about this so many times, so. You guys, I got some really exciting PR packages in the mail this week. I got the new NARS lipstick. It's my first NARS PR package, so that was honestly so exciting. I'm going to use my Huda Beauty powder to set the face. I have the shade Banana Bread. I haven't used this powder in so long, and I'm excited to get back into it. This is the scented one, which I really don't mind the scent in this one, to be honest. So I'm going to tap off the excess powder on my hand. And I'm just using this one-size sponge to really press this into the face. Wow, I feel like so matte. And you guys know that's not my usual go-to, but it doesn't feel bad. And I don't think it looks bad either. I think it looks really nice on the face. Time to do the rest of my makeup. I'm going to do the rest of my makeup off camera today and come back and I will check in with you guys. We'll do a check-in and then I'll check in periodically throughout the day. Alright, so I went ahead and I did the rest of my makeup, as you guys can see, and I don't know, like something about this, it's giving dull. But something about it is dull. If you guys see that bit of glow, it's because I went in with my Doe Baby, and I only went in with the dry side, but as you guys can see, that's a really nice glow, and I feel like that's making me like it. But again, the foundation itself, it's a little dull, so we're going to see how this wears, if I like it more as it wears, because you guys know sometimes with matte foundations, they go on pretty matte and lifeless, but then as you wear it and your oils start to mesh with the product, it tends to look a lot better. This hyperpigmentation right here was covered in the beginning, and now it's not, so like that's kind of bothering me. I'm not sure if the product just like moved around. So we're obviously in natural lighting. I'm feeding the cats, so ignore them. I honestly think this looks really good in the lighting that we're in. I mean, it is looking a bit makeup-y under here, but that's because I have quite a bit of breakouts and, you know, especially because now they're kind of on the end of their life, so they are drying up. So you can kind of see the cakiness here just a bit. I think in the future I probably just maybe just spot conceal if I need to, and then do a super light layer in the chin area because the cheeks are looking really nice, and even on this side, like I built up this side pretty well, and I feel like it doesn't even look crazy, like it doesn't look too cakey or anything. The forehead is looking good as well. Now is when I think it just looks so good. So yeah, I mean, obviously today I didn't use it with a primer or anything like that. If I were to wear this, I would wear it with a primer. But when I do these videos, I just use the product straight up. I don't use it with any primer or anything that could potentially help it wear better. So now I'm outside in direct sunlight. I will say this is starting to look cakey in the chin area. You can see it's really sunk into my lines, and I don't even have that deep of lines. So I like don't know why it's looking like that. I'm not loving that like at all. It definitely oxidized, which you can't see in this lighting, but when I was inside, my face is looking slightly darker and more orange. Other than that, I think the cheeks look really, really nice. It's just, if you have any fine lines, I don't think you're gonna like this. And I feel like one of my makeup icks for me is if something is really sinking heavily into these lines. Like you can kind of see it. Oh my god, no, it literally looks so cakey. Yeah, no. I'm so sorry. Even though, like, the rest of my face is looking so good, I don't know if when I use this, if I might have to just, like, completely avoid this area, but, like, is that even realistic? It's quite a bit later, but I wanted to go ahead and just check in and let you guys know what I'm noticing. My lipstick is probably all off because I was eating, so let's reapply. I'm using the Fenty Hot Cherry Gloss. This is starting to wear really badly around the smile lines of my face, which I don't love. It's cracking, it's just not looking good in the chin area. Everything else looks pretty good, but it's definitely starting to look heavy on the lower face, and I don't like that. That being said, this one is up to you if you want to pick it up. I just think that I have a lot more high coverage foundations in my collection that don't make the skin look as heavy. This does feel pretty lightweight on the skin once it sets. It does oxidize, but no. This area right now, it's just giving a no for me. I have a ton of other high coverage products that I prefer over this one. I really wanted to like it, but I just don't think it's worth the hype. I think that it looks really nice, and maybe if you go in with a lighter hand, maybe you'll like it, but for the price, I just feel like there are things in my collection that work better that I own already, so I'm gonna have to say probably pass on this one if you have a lot of lines, if you have a lot of dry areas. I just don't think this is gonna work for everybody, unfortunately.